Hello, welcome to today's collective general reading. As always, remember to use your own discernment, join with intention, and allow the messages to be received with an open heart. I'm going to dive right in. I have a candle that just went out, and we're going to be sticking a new one in. I know that this is a channeled message for the 444 collective. I suppose I'll get into it as I get into it. There's just something clicking through with the collective. So what I'll do actually is I'll take a bit of this rose incense. I have this had fallen from the candle. Okay. Now I don't know if this is going to work, but I think it is worth a shot. Okay, let's see if this works. It might just singe it instead of lighting it. Oh. Yes. Yes. Fire. Yes. Thank you. Okay, I think that's not going to work. And that is okay. I have these jasmine incense matches before I lose my wick. It is always on the 3, isn't it? Okay. What I will do is place this in the wax. Okay, so channeling, sensing, presencing with this. I'm smelling the burn, which I think is from burning the wick, but not lighting the wick. So forcing something. Again, this came through in a previous reading, but like rubbing 2 rocks together that don't make fire. And wasting resources in terms of like wasting what it is that could be used in other methods that are more successful, sustainable. I had this message for a person on the precipice, and I know that is not how you spell that word, but there's something about presence and peace. And then when I had this, part of the wax that was coming off this candle that was going out, I smudged throughout it. So now there's this, I'm not sure if you can see, but like wax reflection, whatever it is that you're on the precipice of, there's and again, this just caught my eye, this return to sender oil. Not necessarily a wax seal, but a wax layer of protectant. Whatever it is that you are on the edge and about to be in creatance with. Ace of Wands on bottom. It's kind of like being At the edge of the cliff, which could be the Fool, could also be you're about to watch a tower go down. And it's not about fearing what is coming, but it is knowing that it is falling. And perhaps it's the gravitational force switch pull that's happening with the tower doesn't necessarily mean it's falling down. Six of Wands and Temperance. And so you're actually going to be riding the wave with this. Yes. Who do I need for this? I need some moonstone. Thank you. So it's actually like whatever's coming in, you're going to kind of be skating across of it. It's kind of like you are this... okay. Because I was like, I was wanting water to come through, but I was like, I know that there's a current of some kind, but here it is. Here's this water. Also, this for me is looking like the trumpet, and I'm getting brought back, and as I'm flicking my nose, which is a yes, when you hear the trumpet's call, speaking to the Judgment card, but that came through in a reading like months ago. I'm seeing where you are is standing at the edge of this cup's rim. What do I have that can point? Not that. So I'm seeing you as, do you see where this water is coming out from this cup? It's kind of like you are standing right next to the current and you're about to watch it go down. This is what I mean by like, it's not falling as in it's like disappearing. And even if it fell straight down, it falls back into the stream. And I'm seeing her foot down there. As I say her, I'm like, question mark? I'm seeing this foot down here again with the water passing over it. So there's nothing to lose. Whatever it is, if you think that what it is that you're going to be working towards and pursuing, when you fail, you don't actually fail, you just go back into the current. And so there's something that whoever this message is for, whoever's resonating with this, you're on the precipice of. And if you learn how to ride the current, this being in something that you're creating, that you're putting into the world, that you've been called to create, you will be moving into this other cup. And I'm seeing it lower here, closer to like the sacral chakra. Again, that creation, but there's something that's like stirring in your belly that wants to be created. And here with and I'm sure that these have more in-depth meanings that I'm reading into them right now. But I'm seeing the triangle over the heart space as in it's going up, it's coming up. This being third eye with the monad. Yes. And so the shining off of their head here with the shining of, I would want to say the sun, but there's something about this. I'm not sure if... I'm not sure if you can see, but one of these rays here, every other ray of sun is a straight line, right? There's one ray here that's just over the point of the mountain, and it looks like a lightning bolt. It has a zigzag. And at first it made me think that this wasn't actually the sun, but this dotted circle here was the surface of the top of a mountain, a plateau. And so perhaps you've gotten to a place that you think you're at a stalemate. As I'm hearing sirens. And so you got to this... I don't know what this means, but avenue of rejoicing. So if that means something to you, okay, I'm not sure what that is. You've been following your path that stemmed from your flow of intuition, and you chose, again, this earthly, right, like literally earth, rock, pentacles, right? Like you chose to birth this into the real world. And you thought you were walking towards the sun. And that once you get to the end of the road, kind of like, Wizard of Oz, you get to the end of the yellow brick road and then you get to go home, right? But actually, you thought you were going to be like, okay, I get there. And the closer you got, you said, okay, there's these mountains. Well, maybe it's in between the mountains. And you're at this point, and again, going back to that Japanese phrase, giri giri, that like you feel that it's at this point that you've been holding up your hope, but it's about to just not work out. But there's still the possibility for this to work, for the synapses to connect. And going back to lighting this candle and trying to light it with the incense, that was not working. And that's fine. I went and did something else. But if at that moment I had burnt the wick and I continued going down, I would have lost the wick completely. And what I would have had to do is, which I've done before, is crack off a top part of the candle to get to more of the wick. So it would have not necessarily been a step back, but it would have been another obstacle that you need to overcome. It would have been the flow of the water going back into the river to cycle down through the earth to come back again upstream. As that made a sound that reminded me of a kazoo. So that down and then that up, right? But once you get there, it's that giri giri point is almost like an optical illusion, but in a spiritual sense. Of not knowing if you're staring directly at the sun or if it's just the sun is the mirrored reflection off the top of this mountain, and both feel equally far away, even though one is the sun and one is on earth. One is like, if it's a mountain, it's physically in front of you. You can imagine, and like as I feel like a wall here. There's something physically in front of you that is manifesting inside your world. And you feel that it surely couldn't be that because you've been staring at the sun. You've been looking at the monad, waiting for it to appear in front of you. Your reflection is the monad appearing in front of you. And again, getting this back to the third eye. I don't know why, but I'm getting called to share like a very, very short story. I went to psychics, I don't think ever when I was a teenager. I went a few times in my 20s, and I went in different cities, different areas of the country, and every time I would like cover up all my tattoos and I would try and look normal, like I didn't want them to read into my appearance to then read about me. I wouldn't use like my real name when I registered. Like I was very, very wary of skeptics, or I guess I was very skeptical of how people could be reading information from me, and I wanted a clear reading. And now knowing more about like psychism and cards and doing readings, it's not always like, I want to know your question because I want to lie to you. Sometimes it's like, dude, a bit of context would save us, a lot of time trying to get there, and we could go even deeper, right? But every single time, no matter where I went, they always told me that my third eye was blocked and that I couldn't see. And it was also every single time, they always told me that I was very psychic, that I had a lot of power. And I'm not saying this in a way that's like about me, but this is also partly why I was very wary, because I'm like, every time I go to a psychic, they say, oh, you're psychic and you're really powerful. And I was like, well, they just do that to butter you up, right? And it kept being the same readings over and over and over. And like years go by, and then it's suddenly like, oh, what if they were right? What if this third eye thing is real and it is blocked? And then looking into what it is that the third eye, and I'm going to get these phrasings wrong, but this is just like, spur of the moment stream of consciousness. Like what it is that the third eye represents, what messages it is that carries through, what it is that you are projecting of a future onto yourself, kind of like a projector onto a wall, and then you get a marker and you start sketching the wall. It's not that the movie that you're tracing, Breakfast Club, you know, it's not that you're drawing Bender and Bender is in the room with you physically, you could say, depending on states of reality. But if you have this movie playing for long enough and those characters are sat still, you can sketch out the whole scene. And when that movie, when that message, when that download, whatever you want to call it, when it's antakarana, when what it is that is being projected through you, through your third eye, is no longer a signal you are receiving, you still have that image sketched onto your wall. So there is... the Three of Cups and the Magician. And for me, it's just funny because antakarana, for me, the Three of Cups is that connection point with spirit, specifically through your crown. And the Magician, again, you are the one creating this. As my hand is now going outside the fire, so it's like this wand energy is now being invited in, is inside the circle. Or should I say the circle is inside you. And this, and there are meanings to everything in these cards. I do not know all of them. These white flowers are standing out to me. I'm seeing this one has 3 petals going out. This one has 4, and this one has 2. Which does remind me, bring me back to, where was it that I had been doing that? I think it was in this one, was it not? Every time. Yeah. This 423. And this I did in a previous reading that might have been for the 444 collective, I'm not sure. But this symbol that started showing up for me. And I was then hearing 423 when I was trying to talk through a reading, and then it came down to this, but not exactly this, etc., etc. And then just to retrace the 423, it is 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. 2, it is only 2 strokes to complete. And 3, there are these 3 blossoming bubbles in between the petals. So there is something, and like the 2 in this moment I'm seeing as with your 2 hands. So, and if you don't have 2 hands, I mean it metaphorically. But something about you have everything that you need to be combining and bringing in within yourself. And so I thought I was going to be using this return to sender, but I don't think so. I think it's just like the wax that is covering the precipice that you are at. This place here, as your water is about to runneth over. And I'm pretty sure that phrase is your cup runneth over, but I'm hearing it as your water is running over. And again, this V marking, you know, like the number 14, but the Roman numeral 5 being mirrored into the triangle here. And then there being a circle in between those 2. So there's something that your 2 hands are coming in to coordinate, to bring into existence. It is the mountain that you're walking towards that truly is the sun. And there's something out of the corner of my eye catching my eye, the word mini. So perhaps, and I'm hearing that that's going to mean different things for different people. So actually I'm not going to go into it. And as I'm saying that, I'm getting the patterns on a quilt over there, and I keep seeing 3 circles with a circle inside. And it's on different places, but I just keep seeing patches of 3. Okay. I think that is that message that wanted to come out as I'm like, this deck was sitting over, and I don't know what's on the bottom, but this was just sticking up on its own. Page of Tides. So Page of Tides being the Page of Cups. So I'm seeing this, actually, this new beginning, this opening. You're about to go into this stream. Imagine, wow, this actually totally works out. Imagine that this is you about to take the leap into another cup, which could be considered like emotional intelligence leveling up, perhaps. The phrase conquering your fears is coming to mind, but it's not about conquering. Again, seeing the outlines of these two cards as two triangles coming towards the circle, that as I made that motion, the final drop of incense fell off. So there's something that you're about to step over the edge, and actually you're just going to flow into a new, not like a new timeline, but like a new story that you are telling of yourself. So leaving old frames of mind and limiting beliefs. There's something that you are leaving behind that is residue inside the bottom of that cup, like there was residue in the bottom of this candlestick. And I stuck the new candle in, and whatever is down there is now forming the base of this new beginning. Okay. Thank you for watching this collective reading. As always, if anything was of interest or resonated with you, you can like this video, comment down below. You can subscribe to find videos from me more often. In the description, you'll find a link to my Substack, which hosts the 444 Collective, which is where we go deeper into this and get some channeled messages specifically for that collective. Ah, I thought I had an outro and I don't. Oh yeah, spiral out.